Warning! The Anime Egotists have opinions about stuff and other stuff. Please understand this while watching the video and know that no opinion is a fact, not even yours. So please enjoy the video. Or don't.
Hello everyone, I am Sophia Ring, SP Saturn the 7th, and you are watching Anime Egotists. Enjoy!
Welcome back to the Anime Egotists, where no one cares if the people from Watch Mojo can pronounce our names right or not. We got me, Foster, and I am joined by my co-host, the champion of Johto. Say hello, champion.
And I'm Williamson. And of course, back to you, the champion of Hoenn.
That's right. Hey, and I just want to say happy Halloween to everybody. As you can see, I'm all decked out. I am dressed up. I am ready for some Halloween adventures.
It's not Halloween.
What?
Yeah, you're about a week and a half late. Is this why you showed up at my house at 3 a.m. last year on the 7th?
Yes.
You know it's the 31st. Damn it.
But my horrible details for timing aside, it's something that's happening right around this time is the Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC. Now, we don't really like to do reviews of Pokemon games, at least not yet, especially the last few, because, the internet gets nasty. But we wanted to talk in particular about differences in post-game content for Pokemon.
Yeah, it's looking back on the previous design of pretty much you can get a whole new game as the post game, or a new game, or you can get whole new areas like this DLC. So there are pros and cons to both, so it's kind of something we thought we would discuss.
That is correct. And of course, as usual, these are our own opinions, and considering we're the Anime Egotists, they're the right opinions. But in all seriousness, let us know what you think. What do you prefer? See what I do? I dress up for you. I dress up for you people. I wear costumes and stuff. But anyways, let's get started. Dating back to it, the first several Pokemon games always seemed to have a third game available. Well, for Red and Blue, people had Green or Yellow in some cases. And then there was Crystal, and one of my favorites, Emerald, and then after that, my personal favorite, Platinum. But then after that, for Black and White, we actually got Black and White 2, as opposed to Pokemon Gray or Pokemon, I don't know, whatever else you'd want to call it. And those games were probably everybody's favorite in terms of third game continuations.
Yeah, they did the best job of, because they redesigned the game. You start in a different town, you go through things in a different order. So while you're still playing almost the same game, you're playing it differently, and I think that makes the difference.
Not only that, but I specifically remember for Pokemon Ruby, you fought Team Magma while Team Aqua was on your side. For Pokemon Sapphire, you fought Team Aqua while Team Magma was on your side. But for Emerald, you had to face them both. And for me, I remember as a kid, I really thoroughly enjoyed that. And I never considered it necessarily a waste of money for the game, primarily because, one, I enjoyed it, and two, because at that age, my mom was still paying for that. Kind of wish she still was.
Yeah, I mean, I probably played Emerald of the sequel games the most as a kid, only because it was the first of the Game Boy Advance games I had, so it had the updated features, like the running, faster animations, that sort of stuff. Looking back, I think of the sequel games, and as the fan of Johto, Crystal really is the worst one, and that's only because...
Really?
Yeah. Well, that's only because
Crystal.
There is almost no difference between it and Gold and Silver. You start in the same area, you do everything in the exact same order, and either way you have the post-game being able to play in Kanto, so it's really, there's not any improvements as far as I remember.
Yeah, I have heard some things about that. And not to jump the shark or jump ahead at some point, but that's in particular what I would like to talk about when we get to Sun and Moon. But then for Black and White, like I said, we got Black and White 2, and a lot of people say those games in particular really help expand upon the story of Black and White. I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Again, I've never really played the Black and White or Black and White 2 games, but from what I've seen, yes, they do what a sequel game in Pokemon should: expand the story in certain areas. And then again, you do things in different orders in the games, so there is a difference, and that's it adds to it. It makes it worth buying the sequel game because you're playing something differently.
Yeah, that's right. Now, and then we got X and Y, and everybody said, "Oh, we're gonna get Z next week." We never got Z,
Which is a shame because it really seems like they could have like X and Y introduced a lot of good ideas that kind of flopped in certain ways because the games were so easy. I just think that they could have done with a sequel game, made the game so much better.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with you on that. I mean, even though X and Y will always have a soft spot for me because that's what really got me back into Pokemon after my hiatus. Yeah, Pokemon Z would have really, really helped. Now, they kind of tried to do a thing where they had Ash Greninja and Zygarde and Sun and Moon, but I'm going to be honest, Ultra Sun and Moon, if I could have gone back in time and told myself, don't buy Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I would have, because I like Sun and Moon. It's not my favorite of the games, but it still has its moments. But overall, I felt like nothing got added to it. I felt like there was barely a difference until the post game, which you should be doing more to improve on that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that it came off like that to me. It felt unnecessary.
I tend to agree. It's, I mean, there's the slight differences in who's in the Pokemon League between the two games, but yeah, you pretty much, the only difference is that, oh, well, now the Aether Foundation isn't the bad guys, and now we've got an extra post-game story with Rainbow Rocket, and you can hunt all the legendaries through the wormhole. That's literally about it.
Yeah, and the worst part is because as most of you know by this point, I defend Game Freak, I defend the Pokemon Company, but because this was right around the time where we all thought they were going to get a brand new game and like ported onto Switch, but then they announced Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. And this is the time period where they're like, hey guys, we're working on another game. It's not going to come out for more than a year or something, but look forward to it. And I remember because everybody was mad, and I was the guy who's like, come on, who knows? Maybe Ultra Sun and Moon will have some extra stuff. I'm just like, no. You have to play through the whole, pay like $30 or $40 for a full game again, and basically nothing changes until the very end.
Yeah, it's that is kind of a ripoff. I will admit. It's kind of, for me, it is between that and Crystal being the two that are just kind of here. We've switched the box art legendaries slightly, and the story's the exact same.
Yeah, but Sword and Shield did something a little different. And these were the first mainline Pokemon games on like a home console. Instead of Pokemon Gun or Pokemon Mace or Pokemon Crossbow or something ridiculous along those lines, we actually got DLC packs, the Crown Tundra and the other one, whatever it is, I don't remember.
Island of Armor.
There we go. Oh, that's why we're here. When one of us screws up, the other's there to not pick up the pace all that much.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, what it did differently was rather than spend $60 for another game because it's a home line, it's a main console game. They're going to be $60 now. Oh, we can debate whether that's a good thing or not later. But the thing is, you paid $30 for 2 DLC packs, which at first threw me off because when I tried downloading the second one, the Crown Tundra, I was like, oh, that's dang, it kind of sucks I have to plop down another $30. Whereas it's just like, nope, $30 for both packs. And now it's released to the point where you can just buy both packs alongside the game.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Again, as I said at the beginning of the video, and we'll get to it, that there are pros and cons to both, and certain ones that I feel probably are going to be a difference between me and you, because I have one thing that I'm still kind of annoyed about.
Oh boy, this should be good. So overall, we just wanted to let's start off like pros and cons of each. Let's start with a third series game. For me, one of the cons is obviously you have to pay another at this point we'd have to pay another $60 for it since it's a mainline game. Not only that, but you don't exactly know what you're getting into because they show so little of a third game because they basically think they've seen the first two games. We can just give them this other one. So you don't really have a good litmus test for it. But I'd say one of the pros is definitely just more content. More content is almost never going to be a bad thing.
Exactly. When it's when they make enough differences, like in yellow, where where you can have all the Pokemon, you have a Pikachu following you. That they do enough in there to make, in my opinion, that one's kind of iffy. Like it could be worth it to some people. Now it's like $10, so it's worth it in my opinion. If you want to go back to play one of the original three games, get yellow. You get access to all the starters and Pikachu pretty much at the start of the game, pretty much.
Or
So,
at this point, just let's go.
or yeah,
At this point, but people don't like let's go that much. But regardless, I think one of my biggest issues is sometimes it's just not enough. They'll change up the outfits a little bit, which we should probably be able to be doing that regardless. And I guess my thing is I can kind of understand why the DLC aspect wouldn't work on the 3DS so much because if you look at the frame rate for not Sword and Shield for Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon on the 3DS, the frame rate is awful. Like it really starts to drop and get slow during some battles. So because they said several times they were pushing the power of the 3DS past its limit with these games. So I can kind of understand why more DLC onto that might make the game virtually unplayable.
yeah. So again, trying to adapt something because again, this is the first forte into DLC that they've had, or sorry, foray into DLC that they've had because it's always been, well, let's re-release the game, add these new extra areas, and maybe change what Pokemon are available where, and then it can change the story.
Yeah, and I guess in some cases we should also talk about obviously the DLC. Now we don't have as much experience with the DLC as we've had with mainline third game. We're still gonna try and knock this out. I'd just say probably, oh boy, in terms of DLC, I guess the one of the things is it's not necessarily that you have to pay for it, but a lot of Pokemon, and this is gonna sound weird, but a lot of Pokemon fans are upset that we have to pay for this DLC, and I'm like, why? Why? And they'll say stuff like, well, the post game should already be in there, and I'm like, guys, you spent so long asking for Pokemon Sword and Shield to get delayed. Hey, and now they're spending extra time with this post-game content, and you're just like, no, it should be there in the first place. Like, no, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Like, come on.
Yeah, I can kind of see where they're coming from, and the other side, it's just I'm gonna get to the point pretty much now where I'm talking about the big issue I have is that I hope that and I pray that the DLC in 10 years from now, if I'm still playing the games, which I don't know if I will be or not, uh, again, there might be another hiatus but whatever. My fear is that the DLC will become there's no extra content, but oh well, the game has these 400 Pokemon, the 150 new ones, and 250 randomly selected or ones that how to put it are region based, and then all you're paying for, oh well, 6 months from now you can buy the first 150 Pokemon DLC, and that'll release all the Kanto Pokemon. Then you have to start paying for all the Pokemon that weren't released previously. So that's kind of what I'm worried about.
I would agree with that, but they did say that if you want all of the Pokemon, you don't even have to buy the DLC, as long because obviously the game updates. You update the game for free, and all you have to do is find somebody who has it and just trade with them. So they've said before you don't need to pay for DLC if you want every single Pokemon. It's just if you want like the extra story and everything.
And yeah, I know they've said that, but I'm more worried of that'll become what it like. Someone will change how they're doing it. That's my fear
Well,
about it.
by then by then we'll be owning Game Freak. We'll own Game Freak by that point. So that'll just be up to us at that point.
Okay.
Pokemon Mudkip and Pokemon Totodile.
The next Let's Go games.
Yep. Except the difference is if you buy the Mudkip version, you get Totodile. If you buy the Totodile version, you get Mudkip. We'll make millions. Millions!
Because everybody will buy the wrong copy.
Yeah, just like the Xbox. Anyways, I guess one of the things I do really love about the DLC is, you see, my problem with like a lot of the post game is it feels like you get like 1 or 2, maybe like 2 or 3 hours worth of story, and the rest is just, hey, come battle over here in this area, come catch these Pokemon. But I love how this DLC for Sword and Shield, there actually is like development to the story. Like you go to this new area and you get this new rival, either Clara or Avery, whichever one you pick. You do all these like competitions and everything. You learn so much more about Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing. And it feels like even if you play it for a while, there's still more to uncover.
Yeah, and I like specifically like the Dynamax Adventures. It's a good expansion on the original Dynamax battles that you could have. So now you're hunting multiple Pokemon. Again, I do wish there was a bit more challenge there, and this isn't supposed to be a review, but especially when you get to that final Pokemon, maybe give it one of those shields that they get sometimes when you're facing the legendary, but just one. I think that if you're gonna do it there, that's the only one you need to do it with.
I hate those shields so much. I hate them so much. Whatever. But I'm glad we talked about things. I'm glad you mentioned that wasn't necessarily a review, because the one thing I really wish I had mentioned when we talked about what the ultimate Pokemon would be, the second video, not the first one. Forget about the first one. But one of the things that I neglected to mention was the wild area in terms of the Isle of Armor, because when we all first heard of the idea of the wild area, we were all really, really excited. And then they told us that it's just this one big area. It's not the whole game, which really let some people down. But what I love about it is basically how in the Isle of Armor, the whole thing is a wild area that's perfectly connected. Like if a few steps one way, you'll be in a desert or a rainy area. Like everything connects seemingly perfectly. And it really makes me commend the developers for seeing what worked and seeing what didn't work in the first iteration of the wild area without the DLC, and improving on that and giving fans more of what they wanted.
And that brings up a good point. From rumors I've heard, there's next year we're getting something announced, whether it's a new region, which it seems like it's way too early for Gen 9, in my opinion.
That ain't happening for a while.
So
bud.
it's so some people are speculating it's Gen 4 remakes.
We've been saying that for so long at this point, man.
I know, but I mean, eventually they'll have to do it, I think, because I mean, those are like the oldest games to not have remakes at this point.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. One of the rumors is that both these DLCs are them kind of testing to see, can we build a fully open world game, and that's why there's like a town in not Isle of Armor, the other one, the new one,
Crown Tundra.
It's like, okay, can we build an open world game like this? So supposedly that's why they went with DLC, is to see what they could actually do with open world.
Yeah, I can definitely appreciate why they did that. At the same time, though, it does kind of make me wonder what the future of Pokemon games is going to be, because if the wild area is such a hit, how's that going to incorporate itself into the Diamond and Pearl remakes, the eventual Black and White remakes, etc., etc.? Because that I'm kind of torn on that. Like, like, if they've done that much work to it, you'd think they'd keep expanding on it, keep making it better. But in terms of Diamond and Pearl remakes, I just don't know. I don't know. I'm not even sure. I don't know if I want that or not, if I'm being completely honest.
And that brings up a good point. I mean, so we're kind of in that post item needing to complete games. You don't need surf anymore. You don't need cut. You don't need fly anymore. So these games that I'm trying to remember, because Gen 3 remakes came out in Gen 6 that you still required all the HMs, but in Gen 7 you didn't anymore. So this is kind of the era of, well, how do you remake a game that required all of this? Like you had to have rock climb, strength, rock smash, surf, waterfall, cut.
Bog.
Yeah, it's like all the that was such a part of the game that now to go back and remake that, do you get rid of all that and implement new elements of challenge, like different mazes? How do you do it?
I really don't know at this point. Like, but that's for them to figure out, not for us to figure out. No, but I guess my thing is, in the long run, overall, I know we've only had like one iteration of it. I think I prefer DLC. It's easier. It's just, I don't know. I like the feeling of continuing the game with where I'm at. I don't like going back and buying a brand new game and just to go through everything and then finally get the rules like, oh, this is what makes it different. I don't know. I'd prefer if they stuck with this for a while, DLC as opposed to another game, because yeah, that just makes sense to me.
Yeah, thinking about it, I think DLC is the way to go. Again, as you said, it's cheaper for the people, but you still get to make that money, especially now that they're selling the game at like $20 more than they were. So there's that, and then the other side of it is really there's only been, I mean, sure, Emerald, you get to face everybody, and you got the Frontier, the Battle Frontier, that's it. That was like kind of the only differences. You got to face both evil teams and the Battle Frontier. That's the new stuff there. As I said, Crystal's very similar between Yellow. You get a few extra things. I hear that I never played Platinum. Did you?
I did. I often consider it the best Pokemon game ever.
So, from what I hear, it's much better than Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, I'd say that. It still has the problems of Diamond and Pearl of being kind of slow. Oh, because that's probably the biggest problem with Diamond and Pearl. It's slow. Oh, that's another idea for a video we can do. But regardless, it adds a lot with the Battle Frontier and everything. It makes a lot more character. It makes Team Galactic a little different, and the Looker and everything. It genuinely adds to the game.
Okay, so because as I said, I think I played Diamond, and then I got Soul Silver, and then that was my hiatus was through all of Gen 5, but I kind of skipped.
You were just like, oh, okay. Hey, my favorite generation in Gen 2, Soul Silver. I'm done. You're not going to top this game for me. I'm done playing your games.
Yeah. So, but looking back, it's like I hear Black and White have a good story, and I think part of it was, again, I was reaching that age where, well, it's not cool to like that, so I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to play the games.
Yeah, and now we don't care if people think we're cool or not, because even if we stop playing Pokemon, we still wouldn't be that cool.
Yeah, so it's one of those. It's fun to sit back. It helps me relax at this point. It takes me back to my childhood, and trying to be an adult now sucks. So.
Yeah, it ain't fun for me either, buddy. But before we go on depressing ourselves even more, do you have anything else? Anything else you want to get off your chest in terms of this?
No, as I said, I think DLC is probably the way to go, as long as it remains adding new content to the games. That is fine.
As long as you're able to give us enough to where I feel I feel good about spending my money on this. I'm game with it. But it's Pokemon. We're gonna buy their stuff regardless because they have us to buy the childhoods at this point.
Yeah.
Anyways, though, that was our discussion. DLC versus new games. Let us know what you guys think. Hey, anything we missed upon? Do you guys have different experiences with these third games like Crystal and Platinum? Let us know. We'd love to hear some differing opinions.
But again, if you disagree, you're wrong.
Of course. We have to let them know that. We have to let them know that even if they support us, which of course we always appreciate the love. We just have to tell you guys that, like, you're wrong. Like, you're wrong. You're wrong. Like, no matter sexual orientation, we love you for that. We don't race, any issues. We support that. But differing anime opinions, that's just wrong. Like, we're just here. We're here to tell you you're wrong, so you don't have to find out for yourselves that we're telling you. Anyways, let us know what you think. This has been Foster.
And Williamson.
And with the Anime Egotists, oh damn, you already said it. That's what makes things difficult. Anyways, but as usual, with the Anime Egotists, if you disagree, you're wrong. And we're always watching. That's why Williamson never blinks.
You're watching Anime Egotists! And actually, I'm a better trainer than Brendan. Oh, come on, May. A little humility?